Yo, what's up? Yo. Ben Willie, I'm looking at the chat, man. Whenever I look this direction, I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, Algo's playing hard, maybe, but I mean, we were running up, so it's good. Hey, Dude Pro X, how you doing, my guy? There it is. It's almost like this inverse. We're probably gonna get a little bounce right here. That. Unless it's a straight knife down. Dude Pro X doing pretty solid. What about you? I'm chilling, man. Took a little break. Now we're ready to go. I'm gonna stay a little bit here after hours. Talk about, AMC, the setup, projector, everything. So here is what I'm going to talk about when everybody comes in. It's supposed to be flipped, I don't know why it's not. These are the previous 3 cycles taken from 8 a.m. to 3 at the end of the week. So we're going to be comparing all these and see what the current setup looks like. All these are supposed to be mirrored because we're playing them. They're all mirrored. Right now we're tracking identical, and this is why I'm like kind of looking forward to this. So this is the current. I'm gonna label these two, by the way, guys. 8 a.m. to 3.
So
all the cycles. This guy up here. Back to back from 8 to 8. 8 to 3. 8 to 3, all of them. What are they all doing tomorrow? Inverse, they're all going up. And we're tracking identical right now. These all track inverse at first, which means, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Okay. Which means, guys, if all of these tracked inverse, so let me highlight these red, because these are all previous 3 cycles. And we're tracking identical right now. So again, you could tell, right? Because we're following the green pattern here, identical. And these, if you flip them, right? If you put them back here, they're gonna be tracked on the same time frame here. So for example, the one that I just took now was right over here. I took it from 8 to 3. Right, and we just mirror that because it's it's going up, and then that's this guy right here. See, so you get the point. They're all taken from the same time frame every 2 months. So these are all inverse right here because they were shorted in the past. A lot of the times, guys, once you do that, once these institutions are doing this, they are going to short the price or cover in the future. So this is why I'm like kind of bullish, man, for tomorrow, because they're all pointing up. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're at that point, guys, where now we can kind of make this assumption because we're on a technical level, right? We're on this wedge. So why not go up tomorrow and at least test this resistance? I'm going to say this, and I don't, again, guys, for the scenarios, for the neutral scenario for the week, it's going to be bullish for the neutral scenario. So the neutral scenario is going to look a little bit like this for me. I think we're going to be following this pattern, and that would be blue. So this is the neutral scenario for the week. I'll do a bullish one too, and I'll do a bearish one. So neutral. Bullish would be, and this is going to be kind of extreme here, but I think that if we played it out pretty bullish, it would look a little bit like this. So this pattern again laid over, and instead of hitting these levels that I just did for the neutral chart, it would be a little bit more extreme. So it would probably be around this area. Okay, so like 25. That is crazy bullish. But again, I'm doing a bullish scenario as well. So this would be the bullish. There, highlight that green. Now we have 2, and you can tell, guys, that you can tell that both the bullish and the bearish look pretty close, right? Except the neutral, or I'm sorry, the bullish and the neutral chart both look pretty similar. It's just for me, I'm being a little bit more conservative on the neutral chart, just because I do think we're gonna come back down to this level. This would have to be crossing multiple resistance points, and this, for the long term, for the macro, would be a very bullish sign where we start to see some strength to the upside. So even though we're falling right now, that's the least of my concerns, but because again, you come back here on the cycle. Give me a sec. Is the mic kind of low? I think I fixed it though. Just want to read up on that. Make it down a little bit. Okay. So, again, let's go back here. Remember, guys, these are all inverse from the previous cycles. The bearish, however, I am going to, again, be pretty extreme bearish on this, would be playing out this pattern, again, inverse, which would be pretty nasty because it looks like a spring, and it might turn the algorithm around this point. But for this week, the bearish would look kind of like this. So if we get the original size back here, it looks something like this. And again, I don't know if we would go to the singles. I wouldn't want to say we go to the single digits. So I would say around this like 11 mark would be the bearish scenario, and the bearish scenario would look like this. Right, before coming back up and then playing out the rest, basically. Which also, guys, this also works. It's just they would do one more push down and sort of trick this entire setup in their own ways, right? So I'm gonna leave these up here for a second. These are all taken, again, from the cycle movements. So what do you guys think? Because, again, one way or another, even the bearish setup is pretty bullish to me, because even if we got a spring, a quick spring, and the candle did not close on this specific day, and we just got that wick. Wicks are boring. I don't like wicks. So as long as that average, that moving average, stays the same, this wouldn't really count to break this channel, right? Because that's what AMC likes to do. She likes to break channels and come back in. So I feel so bullish for the week. Like I feel extremely bullish. Again, guys, when I say this, I mean like we're breaking out of this wedge. We're going on to a new setup. Not that we're gonna squeeze this week or anything like that. It's just breaking out of this wedge and starting to, starting to establish good support and resistance along the way to stair our way up to the squeeze. Okay, that is what I believe. I truly believe that we need to do this for the squeeze. I don't think it'll just go straight up in the line. We are green right now. I would still consider that. Let's do intraday real quick. Okay, so yeah, we're still on this channel. It's still respecting. Look at this, man. It's still respecting this right here. Look how many times it's touched it. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. 5 times. Didn't even touch it this time. And we're still sitting on that range. So again, I am very, very, very bullish right now. This is crazy, dude. I really like the blue setup, though. I think the blue setup makes the most sense. I think if we played this out, again, it's with just the way. First of all, this setup right here is, again, looks very identical or inverse to what's playing out here, which was 2 months ago, right? They have this thing set up, guys, with options, right? Whenever you short the stock and you have to cover in the future, remember that pattern is going to be mirrored, right? So here it was to the downside. Here, that would be the covering phase where they would have to throw in these shares in the market because of the current setup and say, okay, it makes sense to come in now. If we're going to manipulate the price on a technical level, it would make sense to come in now and then establish support here and keep doing their game or whatever, right? Until they get to that point where that volume kicks in and they can't pull down this volume anymore. Or Amy, they can't hold her down anymore. I think tomorrow, yeah. I mean, again, guys, I I like to provide multiple scenarios, so take everything with a grain of salt. But I believe, you know, at some point my conviction will get stronger, right? As far as the price goes. So it's okay if I go a little bit extreme some weeks, right? I'm not trying to spread any misinformation or anything. Those of you that have been following me and are tracking this current cycle, you know how this works, right? Whenever we have our the time frames here that we're looking at, the ones that look nice and repeat themselves very, very clearly, we tend to look at things on the positive side, optimism there. Right now, the sort of sideways trading was right inverse and then identical, and right now it keeps playing identical. So I don't see why this would not be a certain date, specifically the beginning of the month. I think, again, this goes both with the SPY as well. The SPY is at a point where and I was looking at what's his face, Review Dork's indicator, which actually is pretty nice, man. Like that indicator, the 13 or the 4813, whatever. I was looking at it because I was curious, and it indicates a lot of nice stuff, especially if you look at it on a good time frame. So this is the SPY, and we are crossing what is this 1340 EMA cross, which is a bullish indicator. Now, if you look at this on the 30-minute, these tend to like bounce off of the I believe this is the 13 EMA. They bounce off and then keep coming up. And right now we're in a V setup. So this entire thing is a V setup. I would not be surprised if we come up here, dude, and start like sort of trading sideways for a little bit before coming back up. I said this before and I'll say it again. I don't think we're gonna have a market crash soon. I don't. I believe that the market is going to keep going up. I think this was a fake out. It was a bear trap, and now we're going to start to rally again. There's a lot of fear right now with the whole Russia thing and stuff, and I think it's all just propaganda, bro. I truly think that we're not going into war with Russia. I just don't. I think it's all just stir fear in the markets for natural corrections and stuff. This is a natural correction, and I think that we're going to start coming back up. I don't see this coming. If it does come back down, it doesn't even matter. Like if we go to 400 or whatever, it'll still be considered a correction and then come back up. I don't see us I personally don't see us doing anything like this. Like a lot of people think we're going to just crash already. I just don't see it. It's too early in the year, man. It's like too good to be true. Look at this. This is bullish, man. Like this is strong reversal. We already crossed 2 resistance points. If we keep going up and we come up here, like, dude, that's like confirmation already. This is strong. So again, the only reason I'm covering the SPY is because it is a sympathy play on the macro. Like the SPY movements, the overall sentiment of the market will be pushing the price of AMC up in the short term, and then once we start to squeeze, they don't correlate with each other anymore. You'll have a negative beta. Hey, the boss, thank you, man. Thank you for your help. Appreciate you, bro. Hey, Rhode Island. We are tracking well right now. We are still tracking identical. So, pull up the chart here real quick. There it is. So we're still tracking identical. I gave out some scenarios for the week. I did a bullish, a bearish, and a neutral scenario in blue. So right now we seem to be tracking this. It's possible that, again, put these right here. It's possible we come down and test this. I drew this a little bit on the macro, so I'm going to just readjust it so you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's possible we do something like this before coming back up and testing these levels, right? Before doing that for the week. Again, do you have till the 4th would be up here. And then here it's saying that the 4th it comes up. The 4th is a Friday, so I don't know what's gonna happen on Friday. This is the scenario I just gave out is until Thursday is when it stops, and then Friday I don't really have that quite set up yet. So Wednesday, I'm sorry. For this, I don't know. I want to see this play out first, and I want to see us bounce. If this does play out, then I'll consider the scenarios for the week after that. But right now, man, I'm loving the setup. As long as again, I do have a bearish scenario set up, which is also likely to happen just because, again, this might be used as a short-term bull trap here with just the market sentiment and stuff. And if the SPY does fake out here and come down, again, that's going to bring us down as well. So you guys just be prepared for anything. It's just when we see strong movements like this and see the price action starting to come up, that's always a good sign. Like, you see strength coming up. Here's that strength coming up, and then just a tiny little dip tomorrow, Tuesday, before coming back up. Yeah, high cost to borrow, yes, and then utilization is also going up too, which is a really, really good sign. Again, the more shares that are being used, the less leverage they have, right, to be keeping the price action where it is. As long as these two keep coming up, where I'm gonna keep, again, these are just indicators, right, that the price action is about to change direction, right? So coming up here, again, just because the utilization is going up and cost to borrow is going up, doesn't mean that we're gonna, again, squeeze in a week or anything. It just means that the sentiment now is that these lenders think that you know, the price action is going to go up, so they have to increase the price to anybody trying to short, right? Because that's more risk for them, and stuff, and it's also more money in that sense for people that are lending these shares. So again, we need to keep an eye out for this. But I do think, man, that we're in a really, really good place. I mean, look at this. This is the support that we've had for the past couple weeks. Just trading on this support is very, very bullish. We came into this channel, we're trading, right, like this. Tomorrow, again, having that little fake out coming up maybe like that or something is going to trick a lot of people, right? Every time there's a run-up, okay, there's a small fake out to the bottom because whoever is controlling the price, remember, when the projector pattern forms, it does something like this, right? You have the setup, you come up, and then you come back down before coming back up. It's basically the whole Wyckoff thing, right? Where you have your accumulation phase, where these institutions are loading up because they know that the algorithm failed. So now there's a little bit of margin and that they have, right? They have some equity to be able to basically buy all these calls, all these puts, anything to set up for what this run-up is going to be. That's why you always get a short dip after that projector. So again, if there's a similar setup here on the short term and you have a little projector play out, that would be the accumulation phase that would take us up. Yo, the big dog, what's up, man? We looking bullish according to the Fractal. So according to the cycle, we are looking bullish, in my opinion. I did provide a bearish. Again, I'm gonna keep doing this, guys, for anybody that's just coming in. I'm just trying to help everybody that comes in. I have a neutral, bearish, and a bullish scenario here for you for the week. It ends here. I'm gonna re-update these. This is the half week mark, by the way, man. The 3rd, it's going into Thursday, and then what would be Friday might be another spike up. So this is the bearish, right? The neutral, and then the bullish scenario for the week. I think that just the current setup that we have, we might get a little dip here to maybe like the 15 level, and then a quick spike tomorrow to take us up here, hopefully to 19. Now that would be very, very bullish as well, guys. I'm going a little bullish this week just because, again, the cycle is tracking identical. The past 3 cycles have tracked inverse, which means that these shorts are, or these institutions that have been shorting for so long, might take this opportunity on a technical setup to start covering these shares, bringing the price up. It's just the setup is there, man. The setup is ready to go. This is the first time that I have, again, sort of been okay with the price action where it's at, and confirmed that the possibility, or been really, really sure of something like this. Just because back here, again, this whole setup was following that, you know, that wedge that we were in for so long, right? And now it seems like the sentiment of the market is saying, well, now we need to come up. The SPY doesn't want to keep coming down, it seems like. So that is going to, again, bring us to the downside here on the short term to 15, get support, and then bounce back, in my opinion. But here's the worst case scenario, man, for the week as well. If we do come back down, test resistance again, and then just one more time, do a little spraying, and then come back up again. And this would play with the setup as well. It'd be the inverse, basically the inverse of the setup. And yeah, user, you're correct. He said 20% gain is nothing to be excited about. It's true, because we're not, again, I'm not saying that we're going to squeeze this week or anything. All I'm saying is it's a good way to break out of this channel and establish that support we need so that we don't come back down here. Because I'm telling you, bro, once we cross, okay, I've seen this happen with multiple stocks. Once we cross these levels right here, okay, these are all important levels of support and resistance. So once we cross these, it's game over on I don't see us coming back down to these levels anymore. Here we're just going to, again, it's going to be a stair game. So we would do something like this, right? We bounce up here, bounce back, and again, this would be very, very bullish here, but we would trade on the zone for a little bit. We got the blue pattern coming up, I don't know, something like that. And then we are coming up here respecting these levels and sticking on them. So we're being loyal to these levels, which is important. Again, I don't think that going straight up into a line makes sense at all, unless these institutions, again, are planning that specifically. But in my opinion, I don't think so, because there's too much hype right in the community about this. They're like, oh, we're doing a Volkswagen squeeze. Do you think these institutions are going to let everybody get in on this because they think it's a Volkswagen squeeze? No, I don't think so. I think it's a stair game, trick people in between, and very, very volatile in between before going up and meeting that projected pattern. That was a fake out there for the market for the SPY. The SPY looks bullish, man. The SPY looks so bullish. I love this. This is, by the way, I'm not saying anything like this, guys. I was actually going to show people this setup, this fractal, just to show you guys how basically how fractals will fail at some point. This setup right here is taken from 2020 and this entire thing. See how this is basically set up here in this way? If we bring the cycle, you can tell how certain dates here align, right? With, and this one is, again, I'm taking, when I calculate these, they have to be in the same range. So this was a pattern taken, almost identical. And again, you have to, when you're dealing with different price actions, you must use the calculation tool, or else it will not, it doesn't make sense with option dates. So it would have looked something like that. Again, you see these happen, right, on very important points of interest. Right here would have been like an inverse version of what's happening back here on this run up down here. And all of these are, you can tell, like, your little run ups look the same, right? This does not mean that we're gonna go up here, guys. Please don't take that literal. I've seen a lot of people post this pattern, and I just wanted to sort of tell you guys to be careful with this, because this doesn't mean anything. The price down here was $1.90. It's more attractive to retail because it's that cheap. Right now, dealing at these levels, 16, 17, that is not as attractive as $1.90. Back here, this setup would have made sense because, again, if we need volume, you need to understand the psychology of the trader. And there's a lot of meme traders on this stock, right? And meme traders are typically going to buy at a lower price. They do like penny stocks, meme stocks. Doge is less than a penny. Psychologically, somebody's going to go in on a stock that is worth a penny, right? Or less than a penny, because it just looks attractive. But people need to understand like how like market caps work and stuff like that, and why some stocks are overly diluted to the point where it doesn't even matter if you're going in on a stock that's worth a penny, because there's so many shares outstanding that it just won't move the price. So it's all about understanding the price action for that, and knowing that these levels, we're gonna have a different setup. It's not going to look anything like this. It's going to look completely different on the current setup that we have. So just wanted to spread some awareness, in my opinion, okay? Doesn't mean things have to play out this way, but in my opinion, I just don't see how this is likely. All right. Love the respect here, though. The respecting these levels. So nice. Let's do the 15-minute real quick. For those bars patterns people that like to look at things from a bars pattern perspective, here it is for you. You can kind of see it just a tad bit better here on the intraday. On the macro, I believe that the moving average is a lot better to look at, just in my opinion. So this is what we would have going on here. If there's again, guys, the SPY, if you look at the SPY, why does this make sense? Why does it make sense that we come down tomorrow just to test those levels after hours? The SPY might take a breather because it's been going up like crazy, right? If you look at the RSI right now, okay, it's high. And this is the 30-minute, right? RSI is high on the 30-minute. It'll probably be high on the 15-minute, meaning that we're about to close, which means these options are going to expire soon, which also means it's a good time to fake out, right? And trick people. Again, it's all a psychological game in the end. So once we have the EMA here and the RSI, what does this look like, right? There's a possibility that we don't even touch it and we just keep going up. But there's also a possibility that at this level, we do take a breather and touch the 13, right? And then come back up. So again, if we look at AMC, what is that looking like for us? Well, it's looking like it's the same thing, right? We have a after hours session here at 3. We come back down, we test those levels, and then we start coming back up. So why would this make sense? Well, let's draw that, right? Currently in this channel, we haven't broken down of that channel. It would not surprise me if we do something like that, okay? And then start coming back up, right? So yeah, man. What caused the market to drop? So again, man, it's shaking off people. It's not necessarily any like news event or anything that's going to cause the price to go down. It's just a way some people get rid of puts and calls, right? That is what typically drives all the money that's happening in the market, bro. Options are huge. Options are huge, bro. It's like future contracts too. Futures and options are the most important when driving the price up or down. Shares are a way to basically balance out what's happening through a stock. But with options, you get more of that sentiment because people are betting on something to happen in the future. So if you know what that person is willing to do in the future based off of these contracts, right, futures and options, then the price is going to like mold into that and into that whole thing, right? That's why AMC again is being manipulated through the option chain. It's because with shares you can't really calculate that. It's happening real time rather than what the price will be in the future. And what the price will be in the future will be cyclical. It'll happen on a cycle basis. And that is unchanged through the algorithm. That's why, again, it's very important that we take that into account when considering these dates, guys, where things are happening. And that's why you're seeing the price action play out the same way as well. It's the only two reasons. Got about 10 minutes left in the market here. Look at that. The SPY had there's a huge buy, man, on that. Would not be surprised, man, if the SPY goes up to like 450 right now. Not financial advice. But the momentum it currently has, I would not be surprised if it continues to follow that. Look at the SPY right now. Right now, when you get a lot of buying pressure here, this thing will just ramp up. See, there it is. Ramping up. Where are we at with the SPY? 449.39. There you go. This thing is going, I'm pretty sure it's going to touch 450 real quick. Go into that channel and then come back down before the market. You're going to fight on that 450. And again, that is driving AMC to stay where it is now. Look at that. Look at that candle, bro, on the SPY. Look at that. Yo, it's insane. There it is, 449, 470, 449.58. Yeah. There it is yeah, it's good. It's definitely, it has to cross it. If this is so much buying pressure. Unless it's a little fake out and then coming back up. They always will come close to that, shake some people off with a huge red candle, and then come back up. And remember, guys, with options too, a lot of the times you will see that like about 15 to 30 minutes after hour sessions, they're still trading. The SPY still trades for a little bit. So a lot of options are being traded on certain broker accounts, brokerages. And that's why sometimes you don't even see the price close at those specific times. It's because retail doesn't have as much leeway with that. This is more of like the institutions' times and stuff like that, and then having to have things on a certain price before futures come in. All of that is important. Loving the price action though. Let's see. And guys, I'm gonna stick along here, so make sure you guys stick along too for after hours. I'm gonna be answering some questions and just chilling. Sub has the boss. So options are one of the factors of futures. Every morning before the market opens and after hours, we see the futures on. Yeah. So they do go hand in hand with each other. Options are obviously used intraday. Futures are like basically constantly running. At some point they do take a breather too, but you will trade futures on after-hour sessions. And futures they're a lot more expensive than options, way more expensive. You have to have a lot of capital and a lot of margin too. With options, it's a little bit differently, but options are considered to be more risky. But personally, I would say futures are more complicated than options. Not a lot of retail trades futures as much as they trade options. All right, there's... Kmet speak about the higher/rising cost to borrow rate. So again, man, the cost to borrow rate is just the price at which lenders charge, right? These people borrowing shares to short AMC. And when you see that go up, typically means that their sentiment has changed. And it causes it's like figuring out, prices for like certain products, right? Like if somebody starts to increase the price, it causes this trend, right, across the whole lender sector, and then they have to increase those prices too. Competitive prices with gas prices and stuff like that. It's the same thing with cost to borrow, but every lender is all going to be raising those rates, and then these shorters, people that are shorting AMC, have to pay a lot more money to borrow those shares, which again is a bullish indicator because retail picks up on that, institutions pick up on that, and they start to see a trend where now people believe that the tables have turned and that soon that we're going to be coming up. It's always a good thing, guys. Cost to borrow has been stagnant for so long, just trading sideways. There hasn't been anything, not trading sideways, but it's been stagnating forever. And now that we're seeing that move to the upside, that's a very bullish sign. As well as the utilization, right? As utilization goes up, so will cost to borrow most of the time, because again, the more shares are being lent out. Again, it's all supply and demand, principles, where it's like whenever you have more demand for something and less supply, well, then you're going to have an increase, right, in price. Because everybody wants them. Everybody wants those shares. At some point, though, you won't have any more shares left. And what does that mean? That means extreme dark pool volume, you will start to see crazy shit happening. They won't be able to maintain the price where they need to, because now you're gonna have no other options, and then retail starts to come in. And again, guys, this is where we slowly start to build this momentum to the upside. We get to the projector pattern and we're good to go. K-Mets, yeah, of course, man. Anytime. Look at that, it looks so nice. Look at that, AMC's coming up. Ooh, I love that. Love that, but again, let's keep an eye out for this. Now, let's also consider the, like, tomorrow, guys, if we start to trade, you know, right now we're trading sideways, we're still tracking identical, but if tomorrow, you know, we don't even test anything down here, if we get a little dip, I'm still going to be bullish. But if we start to go up like that, I'm going to, like, consider, like, my options here, because if we start to track this identical, right, then we have to, again, look at this from, like, a bearish side too. Again, the bearish scenario is there for a reason. Nana Ape, yeah, thank you, Nana, appreciate you. She wants more love to her grandson. I have all the love to give. That. Get a little curve here. Now AMC wants to keep going up. We got a minute left in the market, guys. Remember, I'm going to stick along. I'm going to chat. We're going to chill, all right? Let's see what's going on with Amy after hours. 6% up on the day. Look at her. 1609. Are we going to close at 16? Above 16? Probably. Probably. Not that it matters really, but because remember, options for stocks, just regular old stocks, will not expire till Friday. Oof, that was loud. Sorry guys if you heard that. That was the Weeble ringing bell. Oh wow, look at that candle, dude. There's almost 700,000 in volume for Amy. Interesting. This is what a projector looks like, by the way, guys. If you take this pattern, that's a projector pattern right here playing out inverse. Okay, so after hours, we have some selling pressure right here. We'll leave it do its thing though, guys, because remember, after hours right now is not really something that is that interesting, again, until we start getting that momentum. So again, I'm gonna take some time to just answer questions and chill here for a little bit. I wish you were my nana, bro. Yeah, hanging out after hours, Shane. Hell yeah, bro. That's what it's all about. And I mean, if we start to see some action, man, we'll keep an eye out for it for sure. Yeah, Harry Parrott, there you go. He just asked that question. Yeah, I will still be covering AMC for sure. We are not moving on to anything else. AMC is all we cover on this channel. Anything relating to AMC will be covered. And yeah, ask away, guys, if you got any questions. My whole purpose in life is to help you in whatever way I can. Interesting. Typically, we don't really see as much volume. Like even like straight after like the first minute after hours, we kind of die off in volume. Let's see. It goes into like the 700s over here, 1,000 right now. Kind of started off kind of strong here. Still okay. 200 now. 18K. Ooh, 1K right there. Interesting. This looks so nice. I'm so happy. If we go up tomorrow, we're gonna rally in this fucking chat. All right, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna throw all the rockets, all the elephants in the chat. We're gonna have a good ass time. What's the last candle, green or red? It was... The last candle was red, I believe. But it's fine. I mean, we still closed, again, from a psychological perspective, we still closed above 16, right? So it's always a good sign. And, you know, when the tables start to turn, they will basically go in on retail side. Remember, when you go in on retail side, all you're doing as an institution that's controlling the price action is you're going long, right? Because retail wants AMC to squeeze. So they've been on the bearish side for so long, but at some point they will turn right because this composite person is manipulating the price. They're not overly hedged on AMC. They're not the problem as far as what happened to AMC. They are the problem though because they're manipulating the price, but they're not the ones that are going to suffer in the end. They're the ones that are basically going to drag this and let it run and make as much money as they can along the way. Nana Abe, thank you so much for the 10. Man, look at you. All those hearts for me. That is love right there. Thank you so much. Kisses. Kisses to you. This guy. Shane, I have competition now. I appreciate all the bananas and all the hearts and all the little gorillas and apes that you got going on. You guys are awesome. Adam, what is your opinion on loose brackets? I talked about this a little bit earlier, so my opinion is just, again, he has a range that he's telling people, like, you know, Lou being the hype man he is, right? He's trying to inform the public, right, that he has a conviction on the brackets that he's been talking about, right? The 5, the 10s, the 20s, and you put a little K next to it for sure because it's he's talking thousands and hundreds, but he's basically just saying, like, you guys got to be smart with where you do end up selling, right? Your AMC shares, because there is a lot of hype, right, about this going to 1 million and 500,000. I think most of us at least know that that price is extremely high, and most people, even though they're pushing out this narrative that the price will go to those levels, it's almost used as like a hype, a way to hype the stock, which has its ups and downs. I think it's okay to an extent to be hyping the price up, you know, and sort of talk about these like hypothetical, like imaginary numbers. You know, it's like fantasy that we would go to 1 million, but it's also safe to really understand that it's unlikely that we will reach like 1 million, you know, or 500,000. Like those are levels in which, I mean, we're talking like these levels would make AMC worth more than the entire stock market in the United States, right? So we got to be a little bit logical in that sense. And I know most of you guys in this chat are, the reason I say this is for anybody that's watching that does have that conviction, right? And they think they want to hold to 1 million. Well, it's just me telling you my perspective so that you don't, you know, you do as you will with that, but you also don't put too much confidence in that and hold to those levels, because you might, again, not financial advice, you do whatever you want, but personally, I would not be doing that to those levels, right? I have something in mind specific that for me is a comfortable range, and I think anything above, guys, anything above, you know, going into the thousands and 2000s or whatever, like that is plenty of money, and not only with shares, but if people know how to trade options too, that is a lot of money, guys, on options too. Like the whole deal is huge. Joseph P said, didn't they have 1 day to report their position? So even though like these rules have passed, man, I don't focus too much on them, because in the past it's been the same thing. There's like new rules that come into play to sort of hype again the whole thing. Whoever is releasing these news or the news, right? However it's coordinated to bring the price up or down is a way to have people sort of either leave the movement or buy in on contracts, options, buy in on shares, whatever, because the you know, they make it seem like that will be a drastic change to a stock, right? A perfect example is SSR. I never, to be honest with you, I never believed in SSR. I thought it was just a way to distract retail and still keep on hyping the stock to pump, you know, more money into these institutions. I don't think SSR has anything to do with like what the price will be the next day. Even if people can't short the stock, doesn't mean that there are not higher institutions that are still controlling the price action right through the dark pool in their own ways. SSR is really just a way to distract retail, in my opinion. It's the same thing with these rules that are coming out. The damage is done, and all we can do now is wait for it to like clear itself, reverse itself, right? The damage is done, guys. There's nothing, no rules or anything that is going to change what is happening with AMC, in my opinion. Yeah, and you guys, again, you have your own conviction on when you think, right, that AMC is going to peak at and then come down. That is completely fine, and everybody's entitled to that. I don't think anybody should listen to one person or multiple people. Like, it's, you make your own decision, man. In the end, you're in charge of your money. You're in charge of your decisions. And again, the YouTubers and stuff and people doing this is just a way to like provide my bias on that, and you do whatever it is with your own bias, right, to round that up yourself and make even better decisions than myself, or worse. It doesn't matter. It's, you put your input in it and you stick with that conviction and you do your thing, man, and it'll be all good. Just be safe. So again, Adam is asking what's your range, if you don't mind. I don't really mind. It's not something that I am going to make a video on right now or anything, but for me, like just thinking about the range, it would be somewhere in that range as well, like 2 to 5K would be like ideal, but that's pushing it for sure on the 5K mark. It would, psychologically speaking, like if this is going to happen very quickly, it's more of a wait until these levels are being hit and then do the math at that point, because like there are ways to kind of calculate this as the price is going up. If the mother of all squeezes will not be a day long, guys. It's not going to be 3 days like what happened in June, what happened in January, where like we went up for a minute, 77, and then we came back down, right? It's going to take way longer than that, and we might see spikes on spikes on spikes for weeks before we get to that level, right? So there's going to be a lot of selling in between. There's people that are going to sell at 100. There's people that are going to sell at 50. There's people that are going to sell at 500. Like there's multiple different groups of people that are going to sell at different prices. So that is something that no one can predict. Not even this algorithm. The algorithm will be ahead, but it's not going to predict that right now. We need to wait for the setup to be there. We need to wait for where we are in these prices according to option expiration dates, stuff like that. And then when we get there, I'll have a more comfortable, right? I'll be in a more comfortable spot to be making those assumptions, right, on where we're gonna be at that time. So, Rocky, he's like, as long as apes make money and hedgies lose money. Yeah, I mean, the hedge funds got themselves in a very, very bad situation, and there is no way around that, man. If they're using synthetics to short a price down to unimaginable levels, what fault does this company have where it can't pick itself back up because it's constantly being shorted with shares that aren't even available? So if you think about that, how immoral is that for the company, for the workers, for that specific sector that they're doing this and trying to get rid of it? They're trying to get rid of freaking gaming sectors. They're trying to get rid of the movie theater sector, like all these different sectors that they are trying to control because they're the ones that have the money. So it doesn't work like that. That's immoral. So if there's a movement that says, hey, we don't believe that, we want things like, we're retail, we're the ones that are paying for all this shit anyways, right? We're the ones that are going to the movies. We matter, man, the most. It's not these companies that get to make up these decisions for us. And I just feel like it's immoral, man. That's super immoral. That's why I just believe, and I'm okay with this movement, because this isn't one of those like two wrongs, don't make a right or whatever. This is literally a one wrong, and then us just trying to do what's legal, literally what's legal. We're just buying stock, right? And then still there's manipulation. Two wrongs on their end and one right, and that's just us. So fuck them, man. Just straight up. Fuck them. No, Jason J, I don't think so. I don't think so because it's Tesla was again a different story. There wasn't a meme movement behind it. The shares were not. It's not the same thing. There wasn't Wall Street behind it and YouTubers and we like just this whole community, man. There's way too much good conviction right on the stock, and there's so much unknown right now that is obviously a bullish sign, man. It's a bullish sign. It's different than completely different than Tesla, completely different than Volkswagen, guys. It's its own play. It's its own play, and it'll do its own thing. Yeah, Harry Parrott, again, the SEC will only let the MOAS go so far. That's true. There's ways, guys. There's other ways. It doesn't even involve them taking the the buy button away. Unfortunately, there are ways to prevent the stock going to all these levels if they sugarcoat it just right, in a way where you don't fault the like, society does not fault specific people in the game, even like the SEC or anything, but almost like a stir within, like, make it seem like it's not their fault, society's. So basically, there's gonna be a way in which they gaslight you once these shorts have covered completely. And, you know, people saying we're going to a million or whatever, there's gonna be something that comes out in the future that will gaslight the entire community into thinking that, you know, that we were the ones that sold, or that blah blah blah, right? Didn't happen the first time because what they did was clearly illegal and just wrong, right? Taking the buy button away. Like, I don't think there's a way you can really cover your ass on that. But I think once we get to those levels, they're going to have to start thinking about it, yeah, because they will protect the market. They're going to have to. AMC cannot be the downfall of the entire market system, taking down basically the entire world, right? It just, that's not realistic. That's not realistic. Adam A, thank you so much, man. I appreciate those kind words. I appreciate all of you, man. I know every single one of you in the chat that's been posting over and over and over again. You have a little place in my heart, okay? You do. You've been here since day one. It's super special to me. And again, I want it to be special for everybody. I like all of you guys, man, to get to know each other through the chat, man. Make it, that's why, again, I do post it on the actual video, so anybody else can see what's happening in the chat, can also relate, right? And be able, even if they're not typing or in the chat or whatever, it's a good way to communicate with those people. On a deeper, you know, personal level and stuff. That's awesome. That is awesome. I wanted to talk about something specific to these cycles that occur. Something that I don't think many people talk about too, but it has to do a lot with the cycle, is the way, remember how I talked about how they will run the price according to the option expiration dates, right? They always run the price at the end or the beginning of the month. They never run the price in between or in the middle. Like, they will run certain prices in between. Like, for example, like here, the blue pattern is a big one, right? Because we came after a run up here, and there's a lot of options again in between. But you will see the craziest movements always happen in the end or the beginning of the month, and where the, you know, in the blue pattern, it happens typically in between. That's just a way to like lock or interlock these sections, these phases happening together, you know, to make them what the patterns are, right? Because you have pressure, interlock, pressure, interlock, pressure, interlock, going through the entire, these individual, here, let me pull up this thing back here. The TA is the one we're going to look at. So again, these psychological, right? Psychological patterns that are happening over and over and over again. Flag, flag, wedge, possibly a flag, maybe. We don't know yet. And it's just a way, again, to shake off as many people, keep the money to themselves, because they're making money along, right, along the way too. These, not shorting institutions, I'm going to keep saying that again. It's the institutions that are long AMC, right? That have the most amount of money, are trying to get rid of these smaller hedge funds that are dumb. So they will run it right, at the end of the month or beginning of the month, because again, it's all psychological. But if you think about it, what happens during the end of the month and the beginning of the month, right? People have a fuck ton of things to pay, right? They have rent due, they have their car payment due, they have everything due at the beginning of the month. So just from not only that, but that plays into this entire thing from history, because it's always been that way. So options will always have, you know how they're cyclical and they happen every single, you know, every week, every month, every, you know, you have your quarterlies, you have your triple witching too, your quadruple witching. I'm telling you, bro, there's a reason why these all ran up June 3rd right here, right? The 29th here, end of the month. And even back here, November 5th. They're all at the beginning of the month. I'm definitely going to look at this whenever I start seeing the price up. For me, that's why I have all the predictions that I have coming up. And scenarios, right? Because I have multiple scenarios, will always be at the end or the beginning of the month. Because I do think, again, on a psychological level, that is when retail will the least amount of retail will get in, because they have things that they don't have the capital to do it. They have to, right? Most of the capital is that you have to be able to spend will always be in the middle of the month. And that is again, a way to lock these patterns that are happening. Waste your money in between, and then they'll just use that as leverage again. It's a whole fucked up system. Milo. Yo, what up, TWE? Tuning in. Markers for the first time today. How's Amy doing? She's doing good, man. She's currently tracking here. For those of you that are just coming in, she is tracking identical, which has me kind of bullish, man, for the week. This was the neutral scenario for the week, and possibly breaking out of this wedge on the short term to create a mini pattern here, a mini projector pattern to go to the upside. And then here's the bullish. It's a little bit heftier. We do cross this down here, and might be a little bit more intense, but there's still a possibility that plays out too. But then there's also a bearish one, right? So this is the bearish chart, and this is just following the entire sequence inverse again to create this mini spring. Breaks out of the channel, comes back in quickly to play out inverse for the next week as well. I don't think they can keep the price down any longer. A lot of people thought we were going to break single digits. We still can, but it just, to me, it's just not looking like it, especially with the how strong the SPY is right now. Oh, my neck is like, whew. The thing about streaming, man, and just looking at the computer all day is like, if you don't periodically just take a break and stand up and do stuff, you will hurt yourself, man. So I'm trying to avoid the long term. If you guys are new to the channel and you want more updates and stuff, man, make sure you join us, man. Just subscribe, hit the like button and stuff. I post basically a couple times a week, and I go live every single day. So I go live more than I post now. But I think, again, I prefer doing that just because on a more intimate level, I'm able to see what everybody's thoughts are and questions, and I'm able to actually answer you face to face. You know what I mean? But it's just better that way. It's better that way. If you look at the videos too, again, I post a couple times a week, and I'm not going to promise that I'm going to post or anything in the near future as far as the next couple days, but if I do, again, you can hit that little bell, you know, it'll notify you and stuff when things are up. Just trying to help y'all out. McLex, what's up, dude? Showing that mugshot? Hell yeah, dude. What you know about this? This guy, what's up, man? Yeah, just streaming, bro. We got a new setup going on. Just trying to make it more interactive. I got the chart below too, the intraday chart. That way I don't, really touch that, let it go through, and focus on, things that I'm actually talking about on the chart above. And then the chat, man, because Amy needs that fuel. So we're constantly, guys, the more you comment, the more energy AMC has. So sometimes she'll just kind of take it away and just, tuck it in somewhere and deal with it later, which is kind of bullshit, but is what it is, right? Amy is just, she's a little crazy sometimes. But we having fun, man. We having fun. And dude, again, if things play out the way they identical tomorrow, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. Because I think the tables are turning, bro. We've been on this downtrend for so long. And I just think we're at that breaking point where, again, the market sentiment is a little bit bullish right now. I still see the SPY going to all-time highs. Not in the near future, but in the future, I still see it going, again, to highs before crashing for sure. And I just don't see us crashing right now at all. I think it's, again, a bear trap. Craig, cheers, bro. Cheers to you, my guy. Yeah, it's slowly climbing. Adam A, he says the borrow is sitting at 1%. Last time I checked was 0.07. So it is slowly climbing, which is good. It won't climb as fast, but once we start to get into that territory, if you go back in time, you look at where the projector pattern was, and go look at that. Go look at the cost of borrow and utilization at that point. And I mean, just look at it, bro, and you will see some craziness, man. It's you get that little curve, right, that happens before coming back up. Vic, thank you for the 5, man. Dude, love this guy, man. This guy is always supporting. Love you so much, brother. He likes the new look. I did it for you guys, man. Did a little look. We have a couple other options too. If we're feeling green, right, we'll stick on green. If we're feeling kind of red, we'll go to the red sector or section here. If we're feeling kind of stagnating, through the day, we'll go blue. And we kind of have just gray to analyze the stock, right? Just kind of conviction is neutral. We're just looking at the charts. White, we're just feeling frisky, man. We're like, what's happening? I don't know, like feeling a little bit kind of like out of it, like what the fuck just happened, White is like, eh. And then we can rally too and pump AMC, and we got a little special effect thing going on with the rally and stuff. So yeah, man, I appreciate it. If you guys love it, it's awesome. Thank you. Chris Johnson is asking, so does the projector pattern show it's gonna move $1 a day? Remember, man, with these patterns, the movements are not, again, you can take the entire fractal here, call it a fractal even though it's not, but because we're changing the height, I'm gonna call it a fractal for you guys, but it's still the same time frame, so it's not considered a fractal in that we're changing the time, and all we're doing is changing the height but not the ratio. So once these align with what's happening, the price movement doesn't have to be this way, and you guys need to understand that. I'm trying to make it as clear as I can, but this in no way means that we're going to follow this exact price movement, because we're at different price levels, right? What happened in the past, the way they shorted it, will be displayed differently in the future, in different ratios, again, according to the session shifts that happen along the way. So the yellow volume that you're seeing will affect the prices going up and down. it's better to look at things not from a pattern perspective, but from a technical perspective. Again, because the technicals will play out at some point. They will. At some point, they will play out. Even though they keep failing us right now, again, it's all psychological, guys. Once it's ready to go and set up, they will play out. We just have to wait. They will play out. Got that. Yeah, I got that old school Pokemon vibe, man. Yeah. I guess so. I guess we could say that. Good old. I'm trying to keep the theme very, very good, you know, across the way. Trying to keep a nice theme here. Thal, your retailer. Can you and Rico go over your thoughts about the SPY? He's bearish and you think it will get close to all-time highs. I think, man, anything could happen in the market, but again, look at it on the macro perspective. The SPY is, first of all, just think about it this way. Again, guys, and me talking about the SPY has everything to do with AMC because we are following the direction, at least the direction that the market sentiment is. You have to understand politics and what's going around in the markets, right, to be able to make that that your assumption on what the SPY is going to do. I don't think, look, if he thinks we're going down on the short term, then I necessarily don't disagree with that. I think that maybe we can come down a little bit more, even if we hit the $400 level on the SPY, dude. Even if we came down here, and again, I'll talk about this EMA cross thing that is actually really, really cool. That Review Dork actually came up with this, and it's actually a really, really nice indicator for like day trading and stuff like that. But let's look at the let's ignore that for a second and look at just the SPY right now. Again, this has everything to do with AMC, so I'm going to talk about it. What did we just do? This is not like, if you have a bearish market and you just crossed just in one single day, right, in 2 days right now. Same with the EMA cross. Once it hits on this bullish, on a bullish stance, right? Once they cross, it depends on the pressure coming down, right? But typically what you see happen here on the inverse is this sort of like some people would consider this like a dead cat or something, right? And that's possible too. If we do come down, guys, to one more time, I think it would be this level that I literally have had here for a week. It would be coming down here and sort of springing back up to come to new all-time highs. Why? Because from a psychological perspective, we didn't even cross 500 yet. So why would we, not only that, I'm using psychological perspective, but also what's going around in the world, right? A lot of people think that, you know, the whole COVID thing is bringing the market down, and that the war with current thoughts with war with Russia, which I don't believe is going to happen. I think it's just, again, propaganda and trying to stir up some drama in politics with Putin. I don't believe that it's going to happen. So that's my own bias. If I don't believe that's going to happen, why would there be a market crash? Again, we've already tested with COVID what happened back here. There's no reason the institutions and the whole market should be afraid of something that's inevitable at this point. We're going to keep this, again, this sort of conviction here and ignore what happened here. Because what happened here, right? Fear, never mind. Okay? Why would we have fear, never mind again on the downside? Makes no sense. Again, think about it from a psychological perspective. There's no reason we should have a replay of what happened with COVID. If it already happened once and the market said, I'm okay. I think this was just a scare and let's go to all-time highs, right? This is a mini correction, in my opinion. There might be like sideways trading for a little bit or whatever, you know, like that before coming back up. It might take a while to come back up. Even if, you know, it takes a couple more months or whatever. So again, though, I'm not saying that we're not going to crash or whatever. Like, I'm just saying my opinion based off of like the current events that are happening. I don't know exactly like what Rico thinks as far as like a major market crash, But I just don't think the rally's over, man. I think it's too early, too, for there to be a major market crash. It's early in the year. Typically, to see something crazy happen, right? Look at what happened back here. Fake out, up, down, right? We have had very, very, like, similar... This is a hefty one, but we have had similar situations where we've had a fake out before reaching all-time highs again. I think, guys, I think we will pass 500. Just in my opinion. I don't know what else to say. It's just my conviction. Wedge for Chris for what, man? Are you talking about for AMC or for, like, are you talking about the SPY now? Are you talking about this, the SPY? It could, man. It could be like, again, if the SPY, just looking at the SPY right now, like a quick just technical analysis here, and then also using the cross thing here. RSI is higher right now, right? We're at a overbought territory, which means that, you know, on the short term you get a little bounce. If we respect, right, this level down here, we do something like this, you know, and then keep going up, that, again, this is bullish, not only for the SPY, but for AMC, because AMC has the same setup happening. And where do we see that? Here, right? We're currently tracking this. So we're currently right here, right? It's the same thing. We come up and we come down before coming back up. So the SPY, again, looks very similar to that. And what could play out tomorrow, we get a quick breather after hours futures, and then, right, once that is established, we might come down here to this level, right, real quick before coming back up. A lot of these will cross, like, as long as, here, like, the way that I've seen this happen, it doesn't always play out, guys, by the way. This is not something that 100% of the time, right, this cross, EMA cross, plays out every single time, but it's a good indicator to tell you where the direction is headed, for sure. Again, guys, use your own, whatever you think, okay? Don't, I'm just telling you, I'm trying to tickle your brain a little bit. It's as the, and not financial advice, but like, as, you know, like, in a lot of religions, you will have certain perspectives thrown at you that basically make you, again, I'm not trying to get like religious or philosophical here or anything, but there's some religions that throw perspectives at you that change your whole perspective of your current situation, the way you look at life, right? So if that's all this channel is, that's what every channel is. It's just trying to throw new perspectives at you. And if they align with what you currently believe, what your current conviction is, then okay, that helps you out, right? If they don't, then again, it's something that you have to figure out. You have to make that decision in the end. Nobody's making that decision but yourself. You know, you're all in here to know about the perspectives and then do as you will with them, right? But in the end, no one will ever be 100% right. And me myself, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. And that's why I give you every side of these scenarios to tell you that this is a strong possibility on what the scenarios are saying and what the cycle is currently saying. But I'm not telling you what to do, right? I'm just providing this for you, and some of you are going to know more than me as well. And you're going to think, well, maybe he left this out, right? Or maybe he didn't talk about this specific thing that I know, but he doesn't know. So then you go ahead and do whatever is going to help you, right? In the end. Yeah. Of course, any day, any fucking day you guys want to talk, just let me know and we will talk. Talk about it all, man. Tyler, what do you see with AMC? Smaller time frame. Smaller time frame. Again, man. It's here's the setup. Here, here's the bullish right here. Here's the neutral chart in blue, and then here's the bearish. This is the short term for, again, using the cycle to make these movements in the way that I've seen them happen in the past, because this is a good way for me personally to use the cycle, right, to better help us. Now, a lot of you also have to consider, and those that are new to what the cycle plays out. Remember, in the beginning, you will have one chart in the past 3 have all played out inverse on the macro. So if we look at the, I'm going to look at the 4-hour here to show you on a macro level what I'm talking about. So here, again, this is the identical, right? And this is the inverse, right? Macro. Same thing over here. Inverse, identical. Inverse, identical, right? This is the first time where this entire pattern here has played out more identical than any other cycle that's played out in the past 3 months. That's why I'm making this specific scenario a little bit more bullish and neutral than bearish, because again, if it plays out this way, the tables are finally turning, which means that now you've had your past 3 that are bearish, and now we're going up, right? It's different. We're breaking out of this thing. It's the channel that we were in for 2 months, and here it was 6 months, 2 months, and now we're going somewhere else. So again, it's just a way to make these little scenarios. But again, we're tracking kind of sideways too, so there is still a possibility that we track down, okay? Because look, this is not a confirmation yet that we're coming back up. It's looking nice right now, but there's still a possibility that we do something like this, right? That's still possible, man. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out. Tomorrow is important. The rest of the week will be important for sure to know what's going on, right? Alrighty, guys. Well, we have reached that time, guys, of the day for sure. I want to thank everybody again for coming into the chats, and it was a good time. We had a lot of fun. Make sure you guys are back here tomorrow, okay? I will try and stream a little bit earlier. Might be at around 9:30 in the morning to stay up a little bit longer with you guys and see what's going on with the price action, okay? So if not, it'll be around that 10 mark, Central Time. So that's Eastern Time would be 1 hour ahead, which is 11 or 10:30 Eastern Time. So make sure you guys come back tomorrow and we will see how it's tracking. Because again, guys, tomorrow is an important day in deciding what is going to happen with AMC. Again, if we start to come down early in the morning, again, that's going to be more of an indicator that we play out a bullish or a bearish pattern. If we're we're down here by like 12, right? But if we come down early and then start to come up right at market open, then I'm going to be looking at the identical pattern, okay? So thank you guys for joining, and you guys are fucking awesome. I love you, and peace out. Have a great rest of your day.